Hi there, I'm Wardrox, I'm the editor-in-chief of NegativeGamer.com, and this video is my way of improving the gaming industry, just very passively. So if you follow NegativeGamer.com, which is where I write, you will know that I was at PAX East. It was really fun. And whilst there, I played lots and lots of games, and I went to one panel. That panel was called, need to make sure I get this right, The Death of Print. And the panelists were, because I don't really know most of the panelists, but they were Russ Pitts, who's the editor-in-chief of The Escapist, Julian Murdoch, who is a journalist freelance, Jeff Green, who everyone knows because he's on all the Twitters and stuff, Chris Darlene, managing editor of Killscreen, which is the cool new little magazine, and John Davidson, who's the editor-in-chief of GamePro. Now, they were talking all about how print is, in its existing form, is basically dead, and how they need to work with the strengths of what print is, which is that you get a physical product at the end of it. And so if you make a really high quality one like Killscreen, then people will pay to have the physical product. But they also touched on an interesting point, which is what I want to talk about, which is that in the same way magazines need to do things that only they can do, websites also need to do the things that you can only do online. Now, you get that already with like embedded videos and hyperlinks, but when you think about everything that a website can do, most blogs, including Negative Gamer, are pretty, use a tiny fraction of that. I mean, the most basic things is just simply formatting. At the minute, Negative Gamer, which hopefully is the website that you subscribe to and you read most frequently, is just square of text, and you look at it, it is quite clearly a blog. Why does it look like a blog? There is no real reason why it looks like that. It's just convention, and there is no real reason why I couldn't just make it look totally different. And over at Boing Boing, there's a fantastic article, or series of articles, and it's not just the writing that's good, it's all laid out absolutely beautifully, and that's possible using the web, but very few people do that just because it's very time consuming. When you're talking about indie games, this is just a quick aside, when you're talking about indie games, you quite often talk about the gameplay having meaning. So the first idea I had was to make the design have meaning, so that the design of the article has something to do with its content. And very, very quick example thought off the top of my head, if you were writing an article about how DRM has slowly gotten worse and worse and worse over the years, halfway down your article you use some JavaScript and you have a little box, and above that you have a bit of text that says, please enter the third word from the second paragraph. And then so the person would scroll back up, see that it's the, and then scroll back down, type in the, enter, and the rest of it loads, and then at the bottom. And so you could have examples of the DRM, but sort of built into the article to sort of reinforce that looking up a word is really easy, but then if you had to do other things, it would get more annoying. Obviously you don't want to hinder the reader, but there's that kind of thing to make these things more dynamic. But it's not just the artsy-farty, but what does this design mean? That you need to think about. If you were around over the weekend at PAX, you'll see one of the ways we got content to people is I actually used my phone and phoned in short 1-2 minute long micro podcasts of updates. Hey, this is Wardrox and Chelsea. We're now on the show floor. Now, those are slowly becoming more common, but why don't more sites do that? We could, had it not broken, we could have sent in basically 20 minutes worth of instant on the floor impressions. You get to hear us and our excitement in our voices, or the tiredness, or our gravelly throats, and you get the content that you want. I mean, and there's nothing, no other medium can let me do that. No other medium I can just phone something to you directly. I think the last area where I think a lot of sites can improve is in, especially the sites that concentrate on breaking news, is in using the real-time social networks that we have. For example, Twitter. Now, what you would do, news starts breaking, you give one writer, you'd be like, right, you are now covering this beat. All your Twitter updates should be links to articles and whatnot for this feed. Because at the minute, articles are static. You go there once, you read it, you go away. Whereas Twitter is real time. It's this continuous like flowing of stuff. So you look at it. You don't go on Twitter and then scroll back to when you were last on and then read them all. You just start and then you start watching it. So what you would do is on the article on the website where they'd be like, well, say the Infinity Ward thing, they'd be like, drama is happening at Infinity Ward. You'd have like quick bulletin points of what's going on, and then you have the latest bit. You just Ajax load up some Twitter, and then you get this fantastic dynamic loading real-time thing, so that it's kind of like rolling news, only it would be done on a much smaller scale, and much more useful to the end reader. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now. I would love to know what you guys' thoughts are on basically what the web can do that magazines can't, and what the web should do to make their articles better, because just text is just boring. Leave a comment or a video reply. I make sure to read every single one of them, and I'll talk to you next week.